Hello everyone and welcome again. So in this video I'm going to be talking about anger problems. Most people would consider anger management a good option for people that have problems with anger. But as you'll see in this video, I'm going to be not necessarily dissing anger management, but I want to get a little bit deeper at resolving the problems that we have. So when it comes to anger, we usually have some feelings that are associated with it. These are usually frustration, being annoyed, and sometimes it has to do with feeling threatened. And there's a couple of other ones, but these are the ones that come to mind and I believe are the ones that are most common. So what happens when we feel this anger building up? It's usually due to something that we have in the back of our minds that kind of is always behind our thoughts. And usually when we get angry, it's usually not necessarily after the thing that made us angry, but it has to do with the residue from the things that are bugging us, such as not being happy in life, taking life too seriously, and sometimes it's taking life too personally too. Now, there are times that we might be justified by, feeling anger. I'm not trying to say that anger is necessarily a bad thing per se, but often we get angry at the wrong thing. And I believe that is misplaced. So if we keep on misplacing our anger, that means we will be directing our anger towards something that is not really the reason why we're angry. And that is not something that we should continue doing, because if we're lashing out at someone, that person has nothing to do with our initial anger. It might be that they provoked us in some manner, and in that sense, we might be justified by getting angry at them. But there are other times that we feel that we're provoked and we just simply have a short fuse. So when it comes to that, I would say that it's best for us to start exploring why we are so angry in the first place. Why are we not happy? And that obviously has to do with something in our past. So maybe something annoyed us in the past, something frustrated us. It might be due to us having low self-esteem, that we don't like ourselves possibly. And it could be a host of other things, but at the end, we need to look at what is behind our anger. Why are we lashing out for no reason at times? So in that sense, if we go ahead and start exploring these things, they'll start revealing what is behind the anger. And sometimes it is frustration, annoying, being annoyed. But other times it has to do with us simply not being happy. And many times I've talked about how being unhappy contributes to bad things in our life. And the same goes with not being confident. And these things are interrelated. If you're not confident, you're usually not happy. So until that we start exploring these things, we won't be able to manage our anger. Because at the end, even as they say, you need anger management. That is a way to cope, in a sense. Not necessarily that it's a bad thing, but if we are always trying to manage our anger, are we resolving it? And obviously the answer is no. So how do we go about diffusing this anger? Well, we can start exploring when we get angry. We should try to in our back of our minds, or try to see what are the things behind when we're flaring, when we're feeling that anger. Now, I know sometimes it's not the best time to explore when you're angry at the time, but notice things when you get angry. Try to see what is behind this anger, and maybe a day, maybe an hour after that we get angry, we might have some insight on why we're so upset and why we have such a short fuse. And until we do so, the anger is still going to be there. And going back to anger management, it's a way to cope. It's not going to be a long-term solution. It's putting things aside till later. And that is not a bad thing per se. It's a way to distract yourself from your anger, but the anger is still going to be there. So until we start unraveling why we are so angry, the anger management is only going to be a band-aid solution. I hope that you're seeing what I'm getting at here, because the anger management is not the solution. The anger management is just a method where you're going to suppress it or deal with it. And we will not be able to say that we are healed, or we're not okay. We're just finding a way to push it aside, to suppress it, to cope with it for a little while, until the next time that we have another flare-up. And in that way, that's why we need to get into the nuts and bolts of why we act the way that we do. And until we do so, we will not be able to say that we are free from our anger. And at the same time, I want to say that there are times that we are justified by getting angry. If we're punched unprovoked by someone in the face and we get angry, well, we're not bad in that instance. It's not that we have a short fuse and we lost it because somebody punched us. It is a legit reason for being angry. Now, of course, there's like a fine line where, if somebody taps you, and so if we are going to perceive it as an attack or somebody trying to get us agitated. But just take the example, if you get punched in the face, unprovoked, that is a good reason for us to be angry. And there's some other ones, but that is usually not the case with people that have anger problems. Most of the time, people that have anger problems will just lash out just for no reason. I've been there myself when I was young, and my anger problems were due to, let me just say, low self-esteem. I was frustrated with life. I didn't know my place, and I lashed out at little things until I started figuring out that when I was getting angry, I'm not angry at what I thought I was angry at. There was another reason behind it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am going to be leaving a link to my article from my website and a link to my Facebook page. So if you like this video, please share it. Comment if you have any questions. And until next time.